Chapter 1: The History of English Gardens. The medieval garden. In the early medieval period, gardens were primarily utilitarian, focusing on the cultivation of herbs, vegetables, and fruits essential for sustenance. Monastic gardens, in particular, were pivotal in this regard. Monasteries, which were often self-sufficient communities, cultivated extensive gardens to provide food, medicinal herbs, and flowers for religious ceremonies. The layout of these gardens was typically functional, with raised beds and orderly rows facilitating efficient cultivation and harvest. The Benedictine rule, which emphasized manual labor and self-sufficiency, greatly influenced the structure and maintenance of these gardens. Monks, well versed in horticulture, meticulously documented their gardening practices, contributing to the early body of English garden literature. As the medieval period progressed, the concept of the garden began to evolve, reflecting broader societal changes. The feudal system, with its hierarchical structure, influenced garden design. Manor houses and castles often featured enclosed gardens, symbolizing the lord's control over the land and its produce. These gardens were not only functional but also served as status symbols, showcasing the wealth and power of their owners. The inclusion of decorative elements, such as topiary and ornamental plants, began to emerge, indicating a shift towards aesthetic considerations. The influence of the church on medieval gardens was profound and multifaceted. Gardens were often seen as earthly paradises, reflecting the biblical Garden of Eden. This religious symbolism was evident in the inclusion of specific plants and flowers, such as lilies and roses, which held significant spiritual meaning. Gardens were also places of contemplation and meditation, with cloisters and enclosed spaces providing a serene environment for reflection. The hortus conclusus, or enclosed garden, became a popular motif, symbolizing both spiritual purity and the Virgin Mary. The medieval period also saw the integration of Islamic gardening principles into English garden design. The Crusades and increased trade with the East introduced new plants and gardening techniques to Europe. The Islamic tradition of creating paradise gardens, with their emphasis on symmetry, water features, and lush plantings, influenced English garden design. Elements such as fountains, geometric layouts, and the use of exotic plants became more prevalent, adding a new dimension to the aesthetic and sensory experience of gardens. The High Middle Ages witnessed a flourishing of courtly culture, which further transformed the medieval garden. The concept of courtly love and chivalry found expression in the design and use of gardens. Pleasure gardens, designed for leisure and entertainment, became fashionable among the nobility. These gardens featured elaborate layouts, with pathways, arbors, and secluded bowers conducive to
Sample complete. Ready to continue?